If you've made the mistake of previously writing off OpenIPC as a system to keep your eyes on in FPV, this video right here might be the one to make you change your mind. OpenIPC, what is it, what don't we like about it, and what is different about today's video system? G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today we're going to be answering those questions. In the past, you might have heard about OpenIPC. It's the latest digital kid on the block when it comes to FPV. We've done some things like the Sphere Link. I've also used like the RunCam, Wi-Fi, and the Ruby system, the VRXs, all those ones. And to be honest, I haven't had the best time with it. The results for our everyday flying when it comes around to FPV have not been great.
Whoa, where am I? Can you see the screen tearing there?
Now, a lot of you would have seen that footage in the past and written it off, but let me tell you today, this has really got me excited because this is the first time that I've been able to actually fly around, and you're going to see it, and I think it's going to change your mind as well, with some reliable FPV video feeds. Now, I do have a couple of little disclaimers because this part is kind of important. This product, this is the REN system from Emax. We've got the VRX, we've got an 800 milliwatt VTX right here, but I want to make this very, very clear. This is an alpha, like prototype, very, very early system that is not nearly as refined, or the user experience isn't anywhere near as nice as what you usually get with some Emax products. This is designed for people who like to tinker. They want to jump in and be part of the OpenIPC development and maybe try a new system. So I just want to put that out there. This isn't as refined as some other things. We're going to go through some of the pitfalls, but the big one that I'm really excited today, and I think you'll like when you see the flight footage, for me, this is the first time I can actually enjoy OpenIPC and fly around without fear that it's going to disappear. So let's go through the units itself. I've got the VTX right here, and we've got the RX strapped to the front of my SkyZone goggles. And remember, this might all be subject to change. There'll probably be later revisions and additions and all that sort of stuff. This, it simply comes connecting up like most of your VRXs. You've got a HDMI out, I should say, that's going into my SkyZones. And then we've got two little antennas on the top and four simple buttons. Like, that's it. It's got an SD card on the side. To be honest, that's not what we're going to be using today. It's all feels very, very early, like a very early prototype. However, it works. And that brings us on to this part right here. This is the Emax REN links to the VTX that's going to come with it. This is an 800 milliwatt VTX. And I was a little bit worried, like, how is this going to perform? Because that's what I hate about OpenIPC. I don't feel like I have any reliable image quality. This, however, it absolutely smashed it. Some things I do like. It does have a really nice case. You'll see if I mount mine or get it on the side, it's mounted very nicely. It's actually got four little screw holes in the bottom of the aluminium VTX right there. So that's simply going straight onto my stack. It's very stable. Yes, it's a bit of a Frankenstein quad. It doesn't even have a top build plate. The camera uses original existing camera mounts, which I really like. So all in all, installing this in terms of the VTX, it's a little bit chunky. The camera mount was easy. I do not like how long the antennas are though, and like little MMC connectors, they're all wrapped around. It feels much more suited to like fixed wing, but we've made it work with this 5-inch. Now here's the part that I want to go show you. If you have written OpenIPC off in the past, put in the comments now, did you ever think this system would get like this? The number one thing I hated about it, it was unreliable. I would go behind a tree, behind a house, whatever it was, it would drop out. I've had so many crashes on OpenIPC, I never felt safe. And this, with the settings that we have, sorry, we've got some little birds coming in here. Sorry. And this, with the settings that they sent over, like, it's smashing it. I could actually have a decent time, and I was starting to enjoy it. So let's go do it. Let's show you that flight footage now and let me know, did it actually change your mind? So let's go check it out in 3, 2, 1. Boop.
Rightio, we're going to dive right in here. We're just going to jump in mid-flight, and I have to say, first things first, yes, you're going to see some jello on here. You're going to say, that's not the part that I'm worried about. I'm pretty sure that's from not having a top plate on my quad and propellers, all that sort of stuff. The part we need to notice about is how does the actual OpenIPC system look? How is the video? How does it break up? Is it muddy? Is it smearing? Am I losing frames? Am I losing a connection? And am I going to crash my drone? That's been the biggest letdown of OpenIPC in the past. But here we go, cruising around, and I have to say, I'm starting it off pretty slow because I had flown this system previously when it was on 40 megahertz and I was having some crazy dropouts. But with the help of Emax and changing it down and sort of tuning it a little bit, putting it on 20 megahertz, I couldn't believe. I was like, oh, wait, I can actually fly up here. Like normally it dropped out of the sky and I'd be like, oh, I'd have to go for a walk and get it. And you're going to be amazed on this flight. it actually doesn't happen. Like here, I'm going through the entirety of the house. There's no dropouts. I think I had one little glitch in my actual flight that will probably pop up a little bit later. And it was for about half a second or a quarter of a second or something like that. So overall, this is going to be the biggest takeaway. If you get nothing else from this, the actual link between it, it was consistent. It could fly around with, and I started to actually gain some confidence. Now we're going to do some more tests. We're going to do some longer ranges and everything like that. But that is the number one thing I needed OpenIPC to change for me to sort of want to get on board and think, yeah, people are going to get something out of this system, because in the past, it just wasn't there, and I couldn't recommend it. Now, in terms of the colors and everything like that, if we actually break this down, once we've gotten past that reliability, and maybe 800 milliwatts is having a big deal on that, it looks good. I like the colors. I kind of like things when it's stationary, but when it is moving, you're going to see some faster flights in just a little bit, because I still was growing in confidence with this. It's sort of you lack the clarity to distinguish between what's close and what's far away. It does mesh things together, and just feels a little bit smeary. So you can sort of see here the ghost branches and everything like that. It just feels like a lot of digital artifacting that's sort of compressing some things together. I hope that that gets better in the future, and I do believe that it will. So OpenIPC, this is like a step up from everything we've had so far. There, that was the little glitch. That was the first time and the only time that it dropped out just a little bit. But what do you guys think? Like, is this good enough to fly around for an open source project on the market? Now, I don't think it's going to compete with analog. It's going to be more expensive. The air unit is big. It's not going to be for everybody, but this is now in this state going to be for some people. And also, like I clarified at the start, it's really important, and I think this Emax deserves to sort of shout this out, because they're always trying new things. Emax is a company that I do believe in, and they want to push the envelope of what everybody can achieve in FPV and open the doors to everybody. Like, they've worked with HD0, they've had some analog quads, and now they're also working with their own OpenIPC stuff to bring people and just get people flying and have a good time. But yeah, this is an early prototype product. It is not nearly as refined as some of the other Emax products that you get out there. Like, think of this as like an early alpha, early engineered build that you can jump in and have a bit of a tinker with if you want. Like, the settings are pretty ordinary. Trying to get the DVR, I had to like connect to Wi-Fi to the unit on my phone and download it and then upload that to Google Drive and then put it onto my computer. Like, it's not an easy process. But overall, the important part to take away from this, and there's going to be more videos on it, is look at this video. Like, what do you guys think? I can't believe this is OpenIPC, and in this entire flight that I've been rambling, there's been one tiny glitch, and the rest has been pretty rock solid. So I'm going to go out, do some more range tests. Make sure you subscribe for that, actually, because we're going to be doing some more with this system, and hopefully it opens the door up for a lot more people to get on board and try this ecosystem out.
Righty, so there it is. There is, I guess, a very first early look at a prototype with the REN system from Emax. And I really like what they're doing. This is the first time for me that I've felt that I have some hope for us everyday park FPV pilots. It's still not as good or as competent as analog. It doesn't look as good as DJI or CADX, but there is hope here. An open source system that we can all get on board with, we can help develop. It's very, very early days, and seeing the progress from what it used to be like with some of those others to this, I can actually use this. Like, if somebody said to me, Stu, you can either fly around with only this system or you've got to give up FPV, this, I'd absolutely take it. However, with the earlier OpenIPC, ICP, whatever, with the early projects, I'd be like, it's actually not there yet. I think I just prefer to fly line of sight. So this is the first time I feel like for my sort of flying, I have some confidence with this system. Now we're gonna do some extra videos. There's gonna be like some more range tests, some more deep dives, all that sort of stuff as the software develops. A big difference, I switched mine from 40 megahertz down to 20 megahertz. That made a world of difference in terms of reliability, which shows to me the settings that you put on here are absolutely make or break. The first time I flew this around, it was on 40 megahertz. It was as bad as ever, if not worse. And I actually thought, man, I don't know if I even want to be able to fly this more than 10 meters away. Once I switched that over, spoke to the guys at Emax, we checked some settings and I changed that down to 20 megahertz. It was rock solid. It was a night and day difference. So if we can do that with a couple little tweaks, I've got very, very high hopes for this. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. And as always, happy flying, and go watch this video. Like, you'll see the direct comparison between what it used to be like and what it is like today with the Emax system.